Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwadner, and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today, we have the great pleasure of meeting with Randy Frisch. He's the co-founder and CEO of Überflip in Toronto. Welcome, Randy.
Thanks. Great to be here. I am a CE, but more of a chief evangelist than a CEO.
So the operative word to me is experience. I think you're making a distinction between content creation that engages customer versus content experience that creates a customer.
When you think about it, every go-to-market motion that we have running through an organization links to a piece of content in one way or another. We send out an email. The hope is that you click on a link in the email and you open up, a PDF or a white paper of some sort. And then even, I know a space that you cover a lot is the role of salespeople. And the reality is every sales back and forth is trying to link to valuable content because more and more people want to do that research on their own. They don't want to talk to the sales rep all day long. But it's hard even for a lot of us in our organizations to find all this content that's been created.
Right. So how does Überflip raise the bar in terms of experiences that engage customers?
The first thing we do is probably the least sexy thing that we do is we help companies organize and audit their content better. The key there is if we don't organize content, it's really hard for us to know what exists in our organization. I mean, we are living, and I know you did some coverage on the Great Resignation and the impact of that.
Right.
You think about that also just in terms of the number of new hires coming into an organization. They don't know the content you created a year ago.
No.
Great. How do you surface that if it isn't organized and tagged in a meaningful way? Now that's step one. Step two is, as I said, we don't want to drop all that content as different hyperlinks inside of an email. We want to package it on a page that they can navigate. Again, it's this language of guiding a customer journey. And the way we do this in any go-to-market motion is first identify the buyers. We do that with data. And we have data coming out of, these days. We've got no shortage of data. Then we use that data to attract the right buyers with the right channels.
Right.
And then ultimately we use those channels to guide you to be engaged with content. Now, the reality is, as we said, like a lot of people know how to do these first two steps because we have a lot of great technology. It's that last step that can become a bit of a challenge. The reason is a lot of us, we struggle to use a CMS ourselves. So this is a little bit of what we do more conceptually, just to help you visualize now that we've got that framework. The first thing is we know that every company has data, as we said, pulsing through. So this example, this is going to be more of a marketing example. You can substitute that channel template there with a sales email. Think about that as your distribution to grab the attention, to attract the eyeballs. Same thing when we drop in things like your role in your company, it starts to have life to it. When we start to put in more elements that appeal to who you are, it starts to feel more aligned and handpicked to you. So in this example here, the last piece that I'm going to animate in is that we can actually select the 10, 12 pieces of content that are going to most help you along your journey. And we do this on the fly by understanding your intent, your demographics, who you are as a buyer. The idea here is every one of these blue highlighted elements can be personalized on the fly. The key there, in my opinion, is that content is the most compelling part to get people to engage. We did another research study a couple of years ago. It was really cool. We asked two groups the exact same question. We said, what does it mean to personalize or to be personalized to? So the first group we asked was marketers. And we asked them, what does this mean? And their answer was that I know the person's name, I know their company, and I know their job title. Right? If I can put those in, then I've personalized. We asked buyers the exact same question. Their three answers were, my problems can be solved, they know my name, and they know my company. So there's some overlap in there. You know my name, you know my company, but the big part that buyers want is this ability to say that you can actually solve my problems.
Can you share a customer success story before and after?
Snowflake became this amazing multi-unicorn company, went public a couple of years ago, to a very warm welcome. But the way they did this was really a focus on personalization and saying, we are going to tailor our experience to every single buyer. Now,
Right.
they use that exact framework that I showed you earlier. In this case, you can actually see some of the technology that they use in these different buckets. So we get to help them on that far side, but we're not alone in how we make this happen. They take a lot of steps to understand who their buyer is. They ensure that they use the right channels to get in front of them. You can see ads and things like that, and ultimately get them to engage. So in this case, they're selling to a very specific buyer, very segmented buyer, and they're doing key things here, right? They throw in the name, right? That's the personalization the marketer often thinks about, right? The buyer expects it too. They even do things like put in, a little image here to show, that we're selling to a TV company and, the type of buyer they may sell to. But what's really important is when someone clicks on this, right? This is that attract piece. When they click on it, they are greeted with an equally personalized experience on that page. Right? The page is just as personalized. Not just we know your name, but as you scroll down, it has the right content for that account. It's handpicked content that says, I know who you are, and I know how we can solve for the type of company that you are, Comcast. And when they do this, as I said before, the term that they like to rally around is to create a warm call, so that when the sales rep reaches out, they already have some familiarity. They understand where they fall into play and how they solve. And they do little things, back to your point around creation, where the odd asset for one of their real top accounts may be personalized, but a lot of it really just comes down to curation of the right assets. And when they do that and they package this up, you can see the deal sizes go up significantly here, almost 3 times the ACV on deals, where they add in this element of personalization along the way.
That's awesome. How can people learn more?
Work with one of our salespeople, go through a cycle, see how they feed you content at every single stage of the journey, and what you could replicate if you had this capability, not just on your marketing team, but within your sales team as well.